So the two new weapons coming in the Killing Floor 2 Spring Update 2021 have been revealed, and honestly, they're pretty different. In this video, I'm going to give you all the details about the two new weapons. In addition, I'm going to throw out a couple ideas of different builds we can try with these two new weapons. Hey guys, this is Chris with B&B Gaming. Welcome back, and I hope you're doing awesome today. And if you're excited about the spring update like I am, I'm sure you are, because it's weapon time. To start with, guys, if this is your first video about the spring update, you might be wondering, when is this coming out for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC? Now, we don't have an official release date yet, but last year it came out at the end of March, and my guess is maybe it'll come out a little bit earlier this year. So how it works is they'll have two PC beta waves first, and then they'll launch the full update to hammer out all the kinks and bugs, or at least the majority of them. Well, anyways, they haven't announced when the PC beta will start, and actually it could be starting right now, because generally it takes me a couple days to make these videos. So if it is active, I'll post it on the community tab here on the channel, and you'll see it in the description below. Now, if this is your first video about the spring update, I have 3 other videos you might be interested in. The first one talks about the Killing Floor 2 roadmap for 2021. The next one talks about the 2 new weekly outbreaks in the spring update. And finally, the third one talks about all the different perk and skill and weapon improvements they're making in the spring update. And if you're interested in those videos, I'll leave a link to them in the pinned comment below. So the first new Killing Floor 2 weapon coming in the spring update, they're calling the Gravity Imploder, and this is for the Demolitionist. In the blog post, it says the Gravity Imploder is designed to answer the problem of enemies who just won't stay where you want them to. So the Gravity Imploder is a grenade launcher that's going to shoot 2 types of grenades. The first grenade is going to shoot down a little black hole or gravity implosion, and the second grenade is actually the explosive grenade. Now, as I think about it, it reminds me of the particle accelerator in Remnant from the Ashes. In Remnant from the Ashes, the particle accelerator, or the black hole portion of that weapon, is kind of like a super. You charge it up, and you shoot out that black hole, it sucks in a bunch of enemies, and after 3 or 4 seconds, it explodes. With the Gravity Imploder, it sounds like they just basically separated those two, where you have the black hole, suck enemies in portion, but then the explosive portion is your secondary fire. Now, I'm curious whether or not the Gravity Implosion default grenade will actually do any damage, because how is that going to affect the skills on your Demolitionist and also your Survivalist? Because they go on and say in the blog post that you may even feel generous enough to just help out other members of your team with some well-placed implosion grenades. So it sounds like to me like you could play this weapon 2 different ways. If you really wanted to focus on just grouping up the enemies for a firebug or another Demolitionist, it sounds like you could really do that. And as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, well, if I wanted to do that, maybe I want to run Shock Trooper, extra rounds, etc., and focus on the stun aspect of this weapon. Now, as far as Survivalist goes, I'm curious, how is this going to work with him as well? Because he has Make Things Go Boom, which increases the radius of your explosive weapons. Is the default implosion grenade actually considered explosive damage? So that would actually increase the size of the implosion and potentially pull in more enemies? Very powerful. And another thing I was thinking about here is, what about spontaneous Z-explosion? Even if you're running the weapon straight up and you're actually doing the killing with it, you shoot down the implosion grenade, suck them in, and then shoot the explosive grenade. Maybe you don't kill them all with that grenade, but the secondary explosions from Z-explosion, you could have Z body parts everywhere. Another thing I'm curious about is Survivalist level 25 skill Lockdown. Will implosion grenades trigger lockdown? So all the Zeds who are in the Gravity Implosion, will they be stunned for an extra, 5 seconds? That would be incredibly powerful. The second new Killing Floor 2 weapon coming in the Spring Update 2021, they're calling the HRG Beluga Beat. In the blog post it says, "Don't go rushing into the field just yet. Stick around, a whale, and listen to this tale. The team at the Horzine Research Group has been tinkering around with the physics of sound, resulting in the HRG Beluga Beat." Now you're probably wondering where they got this weird name from, and my guess is they took the Seal Squeal, which is a harpoon launcher, and they took Beat because it's a sonic weapon, and Beluga, and I guess that's what it is. Anyways, they go on in the blog post and say, "Now each merc and situation marches to the beat of their own drum. So tune this sharpshooter weapon into your desired frequency for different results." So this weapon is actually for sharpshooter. So the Beluga Beats default fire is going to have greater area of effect. It's going to have the ability to penetrate through several Zeds, also pushing them back, and finally it's going to do greater armor damage. Now the secondary fire, or what they're calling the high frequency, they're saying will move faster and do much more damage to its target, but won't do any impulse or knockback or penetration. So as I'm thinking about this with sharpshooter, I can't really come up with anything because I haven't tried it yet, so I don't really know what it's going to do. But one thing they did talk about is improving sharpshooter's level 25 skill Ranger, where now it will consistently stun every target that you shoot in Z time. And with this weapon, again, because you can shoot through multiple targets at one time, it seems like it's almost like a giant freeze thrower or something, right? Where you're just stunning, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 targets at one time in Z time. With Survivalist, I'm thinking about Z-Explosion. Are we going to be able to trigger multiple explosions at one time? And with Lockdown, I'm thinking we'll be able to stun multiple enemies, kind of like with the Arc Generator or the Freeze Thrower in Z time. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Are you excited about the Gravity Imploder? Are you excited about the HRG Beluga Beat? Let me know what you think. For me, I'm really excited about both these weapons. The Gravity Imploder sounds really cool. I'm curious how it's going to work on both Demolitionist and Survivalist. I'm excited to try it out as far as running more of a support stun type of role, and also seeing how much damage I can put out with this thing. As far as the HRG Beluga Beat, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to say that without laughing because it's so ridiculous, but I love it. I think it's really cool. It being on Sharpshooter is really strange. I'm curious to try that out on Sharpshooter. Honestly, Sharpshooter is not one of my favorite perks just because, yeah, I don't know, you're just kind of stuck in a role. Either you can spec him out to be more of a trash killer, or you can spec him out to kill the big Zeds, and that's not really my play style. I'm interested to try out this weapon on him, and of course, because Survivalist is one of my favorite perks, I'm curious to see what kind of stun ability I can get out of this weapon, and I'm just excited to try him out.